I'm live.
Yeah, we're live, Dee Dee.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Dee Dee Brooks. Many of you know me, and I got messages this morning from people who said that they were going to tune in. The reason that I'm here now is because at the last minute, we were going to have a speaker today on deferred sales trusts, and he had to reschedule at the last minute. And so I said to Brian, why don't you go ahead and speak of what we worked on yesterday? I have two cases that Brian helped us with yesterday. And I laugh because one comes from a friend of mine. She's in her 50s, and I shouldn't laugh because her husband's he's not well. And they've been married for 30 years, but she's the second wife. And his son is a financial planner. So she has been reaching out to me because the other guy didn't realize that she won't get his Social Security until she's 60. So conventional planning wasn't meeting their Southern California income needs. And of course, we bring in Brian, and he's marvelous, and he figured it out. Mm-hmm. And then another one that maybe we'll have time to speak of today. She's one of our group medical clients, and wonderful lady, also in her 50s. Her parents, who are in their 90s, were faced with expensive in-home care in the last 3-4 years of their lives. And the children rallied, and she came to us because her sister bought a product. And of course, she wanted to buy the very same product. And instead of that particular product, Brian fixed so many things that were out of kilter. So let me start with my friend who's in her 50s, and let's talk a little bit about planning and the different buckets that Brian is always discussing that we benefit from.
So, well, thank you, Dee Dee. And thank you for putting up this last minute switch. I was excited to talk about deferred sales test, but I'm always excited to talk about case design. This kind of does circle around the use of annuities to a certain extent. Annuities do things that other things won't do. There's other things, and vice versa, I might add. But you will find that they're more flexible than you would think. And I do have an annuity 101 I can take you through. But let's show what Dee Dee. Let me show you what Dee Dee was referred to.
Let me add too that that's just one of the buckets that you proposed,
right?
Because she has some market money, and she has some other investments as well, properties, and we're also working with disbanding some rental income.
Well, it's kind of what I always say is
he's a good quarterback.
Yeah, what I always say is there's no the plan is more important than the product, and you have to use products to make a plan work. But having a little bit of knowledge and being able to understand how different products works allows you to kind of expand the options that you can give to somebody. And I'm going to share. This is kind of quite honestly, we're still working around the numbers, but and what we were looking at, this particular annuity is what's called an indexed income annuity with a rider on it. Now, the one thing about annuities, most annuities is if they are deferred or deferred index, whatever, they allow withdrawals as long as, and they also have income riders on them. Some of them, not all of them. That's why I say there's a million different types of annuities. And in this case, because of the unique attributes of this particular product, what I looked at was, because they basically were looking at a $10,000 to $12,000 shortfall. And that's why I say we're sort of still working with the numbers to make that happen. But this is actually pretty close. And in this case, I'm showing $150,000 going into this annuity. And obviously, we left money behind to fund year one. And because some of as Dee Dee pointed out, because of their age difference, it really would bring down the amount the annuity would pay out if we just, in fact, turned on the income rider. The other thing about this is that this annuity does offer a death benefit as well. But it also has a withdrawal option, and with a few other things. There's a lot of different attributes to this annuity I could spend a half an hour just talking about. But in this case, because this annuity offers, if you're seeing the screen here, let me open this up a little bit more. And if you're seeing the screen here, you're seeing that what we did to cover that shortfall is we just did withdrawals. We didn't turn on any income or anything. The other thing to note that this offers a death benefit as well. So obviously with, his
no medical underwriting.
And there's no medical underwriting. That's important.
The money that we got
Yeah.
was from an accelerated benefit on a life insurance policy that
Right.
he surprised her with.
Right. So that we're able to come up with some money there too. And that's called looking at products and understanding them. But what we end up doing is we took, because this particular annuity has an income rider, it also has that, if you see on the screen a protected income value, that's also a death benefit. So again, just due to their age difference and his not great health, we want to make sure we preserve and are able to pass on enough assets, because again, because of their age difference, the income riders are based on the youngest age. So I need to have her part of this annuity, but I didn't necessarily want to turn it on right away. So what you're looking at here is we started doing those withdrawals to get that $10,000. So, and because it's annuity, if you look at this column here, like the 6.65%, while you're deferring income, this thing gets a 250% bonus. So your 6.65 turned into 16.62 on this for this protected income account that again actually operates as a death benefit as well, because I've actually used this annuity just for death benefit purposes. In some ways, we may be looking at that here. Because example, if, for instance, something happened to this fellow at age 80, 81, 82, right? We've taken 3 years, we've taken 30,000 out. Remember, we put 150 in. At that point, you'd be looking at a death benefit of 221. So that 150 actually is going to end up netting, what are we looking at? $250,000 within a 3-year period of time. That's a pretty good return in anyone's book. The other thing this thing does offer, if we, for instance, if you suddenly needed long-term care, that does have a doubling option, where then you could potentially turn on the income. And with the long-term care rider, that income is actually doubled. The other option we have with this is, like I said, she could, if he passes or when he passes, none of us get out of this alive that I'm aware of yet. But when he passes, she could take it as death benefit, or she can hang on to it. And this is what I'm showing you here. If, for instance, he withdrew this for 9 years, he could either take all this out, which would be about $70,000, and walk away with his death benefit, which is $190. And then she could then, and she has the option of just turning on income. And the other thing this annuity offers is increasing income. So if you're looking at this, and we only have the illustration going out so far, obviously 22 years in this case, you'll see that would be more like her age, about 75. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that point, her income would have gone from 6 to 13 with many years to go, which would keep increasing.
And this is just one of the buckets that we have. For
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Obviously there's no one product that offers a total solution.
But she came to us with some buckets that we are working
around. We're obviously doing other things and trying to honestly trying to fix. But this is a solution we wanted to use to make sure we preserve assets for her, because obviously, in a relationship, women tend to live longer than men anyway. And when there's that big an age difference and that health issues, so we have to make sure we keep her going, because of her still get
from his Social Security. So that'll
stuff
help
like
out a great deal.
Yeah.
But there's that gap between now and age 60.
Because that would get her to age 60 and everything else, because she, all that stuff. So, it's interesting thing when you work on these cases, and that everybody's situation is totally different. So this is kind of a little bit of an annuity 101 in this particular annuity. Again, this annuity does offer, the other thing this annuity offers is does have, you'll notice here, this 150 turns into 193 over here. And that's a combination of this return plus annuity actually offers a 25% bonus on that 150. So that's why all the extra money.
But that's until they announced it yesterday, and that runs until the end of June.
Right.
So 25%.
It's normally an 18% bonus. They're giving you a little kicker right now. Again, understanding annuities and what you can do with them. The one thing an annuity will do that no other financial product will do is when you run out of cash, you won't run out of money. In other words, if you notice here, the way this particular one's structured, you'll notice here that it did run out of cash, but you still get that increasing income forever and ever and ever. Because in this case, she could live to 110 and that income would keep coming in.
Now, she's more knowledgeable than most people, but I know some people think that when you buy something like this, if you were to pass away, that it's a 10-year period certain, or it's only for that person's life.
Yeah, there's
a misconception that you're locking up your asset and you're not able to touch it. And there's
product, because what Dee Dee was referring to is actually more of an immediate annuity. In other words, you have a period certain 10 or a lifetime annuity or whatever. And those typically, that's what most people think about when they think of annuities. You give the insurance company X amount of dollars and they give you a payment back for the rest of your life, which is not a bad thing. But these cash value type annuities especially these index ones offer so many more features, and the payout initially may not always be as high, but I guarantee you end up getting a lot more money out of them than you would have a fixed fixed annuity. In other words, what we call a single premium in annuity.
And I don't know if we have enough time to speak of the other person right now, but just quickly, she came to us initially just to say, can I buy this product from you? So Brian's a CLTC, a lifetime member of the long-term care, yada, yada, and all that. But we don't really ever use conventional long-term care policies anymore. Once upon a time, I have one. But long and short is, what if you don't need long-term care? You've given the insurance company all this asset. And the second is they kind of were replaced with these hybrid products, which allow you to put aside money today and it gives you a multiplier. So if you put aside 100,000, it might give you 400,000 in death benefit or 400,000 in long-term care benefit. But those aren't good cash accumulators. And for her sister bought one of those. She put aside the money. And if we look at what happens with that in 30 years, it wasn't going to be enough. So Brian was able to look at their entire portfolio and pick a little from here, pick a little from. He's gifted when it comes to this, I have to say. And I shouldn't be saying superlatives. I should leave that up to you to find out. But he basically met the need, gave her places to go to as a business owner for cash that don't have any restraints on you can't take it today or tomorrow. And this way, her husband wasn't keen about taking the asset because he's a CPA. He said, what if she doesn't need it? And he has carefully built up over $1 million in their 401k, and he did not want to lose the asset. But when we work with people, we listen. It's your plan, not our plan. And we implement all of the different strategies that are available with the tools. It's good to have money in the market, but it's not good at this stage of the game, I feel, to use it for your nest egg. You should use the market for what it was designed for, and then use other products to make sure that you're getting paychecks for life.
Well, those, yeah, I think that's yeah, Dee Dee's right. I mean, I think that absolutely right about that. I think you don't want to ever put all your eggs on, and you hear that even from basically just market based. I mean, that's the whole theory behind mutual funds, although I'll have a conversation on that one day. Because I think because I recently did a series of workshops, and one thing that I did talk about is a lot of it is asset allocation, but having a guarantee that you're going to, at least at the very minimum, having your fixed costs taken care of. Now, the nice thing is with innovation within the industry, the life insurance industry, annuity industry, we are able to offer different options to have some of these solutions. And Dee's right. I mean, what you have the multiplier effect on some of those single premium. But the one thing I know, people have, they don't have, most people don't have unlimited money. So you have to find ways, because the one thing about a long-term care policy, and I did a long-term care talk a few weeks ago. One thing about a long-term care policy, it's one of those policies you're going to put money into it and never know if you're going to get it back. I mean, there are some return of premium things and stuff like that, but ultimately, our job is to maximize assets and be efficient with money, and that's why you find creative ways to fix all the different issues you're thinking about in retirement. And what you may be seeing on the screen now is more of a traditional income planning strategy. And this is a fellow who's 50 some years old. We're building him a well-rounded kind of a holistic approach like we do everybody. And this will give him some options as well, because you see, that 250 in, he's getting that big bonus. And then he'll get that guaranteed income. The other thing about annuities, what people don't realize, is they are tax deferred on their own. But you can have them in an IRA wrapper. So you can put IRA money in them. You can convert them to Roth. You can put Roth money into them. Because I always talk about 3 buckets of money. One is your taxable bucket. One is your what we call postponed bucket. And the other is your tax-free bucket. The one thing about annuities is they're not going to be in the taxable bucket ever. They're either going to be in the tax deferred or postponed bucket or the tax-free bucket. And one thing I'm doing with a lot of people right now, I'm actually taking their annuities and I'm taking them from being a tax postponed to a tax-free bucket. So we're able to do that. And actually with this one, we're going to be doing that. So that income, if we follow our plan, that income is going to be all tax-free along with some other tax-free income. So he'll enjoy a pretty nice retirement.
And you can do that right within the contract.
You can do it right within the contract. You can do Roth conversions right within the contract. And again, this also does have the long-term care doubler and all that kind of stuff. And that's one thing we've done with this particular product. And other products have done the same thing. We'll put money in it, park it, and use it either as a wealth transfer vehicle or as a long-term care vehicle if anybody ever needs care. In other words, we wait, we put it, if they get to 84 and they need care, and with the doubler effect, we'll turn on the annuity, we'll kick in the rider, and they'll get double what they would have gotten income. So it just kind of comes down to coming up with the money to pay for stuff. That's really all this amounts to. But
I always say it's a lot easier to spend a paycheck than it is to have a bucket of money and to feed off of that in your later years.
Yeah.
And a paycheck that goes up is a nice thing too.
Yeah, that's, I don't think any of us would take a job at 25 and never get a raise and take a job that would never give you a raise. I don't think you want to spend 20 to 30 years in retirement and not get a raise. And you have to be careful with that, with just trying to live off withdrawals. So this is a little bit of annuity talk. I'll probably in the future dig in a little bit deeper, because I have an annuity 101 training I do, because there are so many misunderstandings around annuities. But the moral of this story is they're a lot more flexible than you would think, and there's a lot more applications to them than you would think. And that's just. And I think why a lot of advisors don't use them or advise them is they don't understand them themselves.
Well, sometimes when you work in a captive audience, you only have certain products that you're allowed to use.
That's true. If you work for certain houses, if you're working for somebody else, you have to use the products that they want you to use.
Yeah, it's a lot more work to be independent, but it's also
a lot more rewarding too.
I welcome other advisors to have a call with us take a look at what you're doing right now and see if maybe we can make an enhancement. There, just give me some truth.
Yeah, that will just give me some truth, and we believe that.
So we didn't get to speak about deferred sales trusts today.
But we will be
But
getting
we
on
will.
that. We're going to be
Yeah.
rescheduling that, because the deferred sales trust is another tax deferral vehicle that could save you hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes. So we'll definitely be, and with some of the changes we see coming around that could be happening in the tax code, and I might add has already happened in the tax code going back a few years. I think it's a very important topic. So we'll definitely be circling that back in the next couple weeks. So any questions, feel free to reach out to us. If you want to jump on a call with me, you can either dial us up, or you can go to our website, searchcityfinancialgroup.com. You can go to our website and you can book a call, or just call us 743-377-1400. All right, folks. Thank you for I apologize for the impromptu, but life happens. So we thought we would just throw this out here and at least throw a little bit of information out for y'all. So I hope you found it interesting. And if you have any questions on it, let us know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Mike needs you in a bad way.
I don't say that so online.
Oh, he's going to come by.